Hello, cheeky monkeys, and welcome back. Yes, there is a Google window open. Google search engine window open. And no, this channel is not going to turn into one of those channels where I just Google search all stuff all the time for every episode. It's not what I had envisioned for my channel in the beginning. There's only two reasons. Two reasons I will do a Google search channel video. First reason is if you guys ask me to. I will do anything you guys ask me to. Well, almost anything. There are a few things. Just ask. I'll tell you yes or no. The second reason, if there's an issue or a problem that's brought up that can be answered with asking a question, and that's where this video falls. Some of you guys may have heard of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. It's circling around right now. Anyways, one of my friends did the Ice Bucket Challenge and nominated me to do it too, and I'm not going to do it. I told him no. And before you just start all saying, oh, James, you're such a horrible person. Why would you say no? It's such a good thing. It is a good thing. But I said no for, I have my reasons. Well, one, my friend didn't donate any money to ALS. So I view his nomination as null and void because he didn't do the whole Ice Bucket Challenge. The other reason is I'm poor. I have enough money to support myself. That's it. But if I did have money to donate to a charity, I would not donate to ALS. And the reason why is because it's a charity research foundation, and if I was to donate to a charity, it wouldn't be for a research foundation. I would donate my money to an organization that's actually doing stuff right now that we can achieve. Stuff like Doctors Without Borders, the World Health Organization, any organization working to end world hunger, or working to get clean water in places that have dirty water. That's what's important to me, and that is my opinion. I'm not saying you have to do what I say or anything. Everybody has their own opinions. That's what makes us human. So, the other thing I have an issue with about the Ice Bucket Challenge videos is they do not tell you what ALS is, or explain it, or tell you how many people are affected or anything. So that's what I'm going to do with this video. I'm going to get here into Google. We're going to figure out what ALS is. That's what I figure would be the most helpful thing. I do think that charity research foundations are good things. They do a lot of great work and such stuff. It's just not important to me. There's other stuff, other charities and such stuff that I view as way more important. And that's, like I said, my opinion. I'm the crazy guy with the weird opinions, I know. So, let's get in here to Google. I'll type some stuff in and see how this goes. Alright. What is, see what I look up a lot, right? ALS. Oh, look at this. There's an ALS organization website. Huh. Guess that would be a good place to start. Alright, what is ALS? Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis? I am not a doctor. I will tell you that right away. Often referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease. Okay, Lou Gehrig's disease. I've heard of that before. Is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cord. Motor, that's right, motor. Neurons reach from the brain to the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord to the muscles throughout the body. The progressive degeneration of the motor neurons in ALS eventually leads to their death. With the motor neurons die, the ability to the brain to initiate and control muscle movement is lost. With voluntary muscle action progressively affected, parents in later stages of the disease may become totally paralyzed. So basically, it's a neurological disease that affects the way your brain works. It apparently affects your motor neurons, is what it affects, is what this web page is saying. So basically, with ALS, You could eventually become paralyzed, you won't be able to move your arms, your legs, itch your nose, or cough, and will eventually lead to death, is what this is saying. So this does sound pretty serious. This is a serious disease, and like most things with the brain, we don't really know. Alright. Actually, facts you should know. ALS is not contagious. That is a good thing. ALS is not contagious. You're not going to catch it just because someone else has ALS. It is estimated that ALS is responsible for nearly 2 deaths per 100,000 population annually. So, okay, so 2 people die because of ALS because of 100,000. 2 people in every 100,000. See, approximately 5,600 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with ALS each year. The incidence of ALS is 2 per 100,000 people, and it is estimated nearly as many as 30,000 Americans may have the disease at any given time. Alright, so approximately 5,000. Okay. Although the life expectancy of ALS patient averages about 2 to 5 years from the time of diagnosis, so you could live another 5 years with ALS, which gives you enough time to say goodbye. The disease is variable, and many people live with quality for 5 years and more. More than half of all patients live more than 3 years after diagnosis. So, okay. I'm seeing. About 20% of people with ALS live 5 years or more, and up to 10% will survive more than 10 years. 5% will live 20 years. There are people in whom ALS has stopped progressing, and a small number of people in whom symptoms of ALS reversed. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. ALS occurs throughout the world with no racial, ethnic, or social economic boundaries. So anybody in the world can get ALS, whether you're white, black, red, Asian, African. ALS can strike anyone. Wow, that is interesting. The onset of ALS is insidious, with muscle weakness or stiffness as early symptoms. Progression of weakness, wasting, and paralysis of the muscles of the limbs and trunk, as well as those that control vital functions such as speech, swallowing, and later breathing, generally follows. Alright. So if you get, like, muscle weakness or stiffness, you may want to talk to your doctor. It may not be ALS, but this is saying that those are early symptoms. So, something to watch out for. Good. There can be significant cost for medical care, equipment, and home health caregiving later in the disease. It is important to be knowledgeable about your health plan coverage and other programs for which you may be eligible, including SSA, Medicare, medical, and Veteran Affairs benefits. So it's expensive if you do get ALS. Relazzo? I don't know how to say that word. If you know, good for you. The first treatment to alter the course of ALS was approved by the FDA in the late 1995. This anti-conglomerate drug was shown scientifically to prolong the life of persons with ALS by at least a few months. More recent studies suggest Relazzo slows the progress of ALS, allowing the patient more time in higher functioning states, with their function is less affected by ALS. Click here for more information on the drug. There's a link. Reports from 3 separate patient databases, I almost said diabetes, I don't know what's going on, described long-range experience with Relazzo. All 3 reports suggest a trend of increasing survival. So this is a good drug to take. If you have ALS, this may be a treatment you want to look into. More studies that are double-blind and controlled are needed to confirm these database observations. So there's not a lot to back up the studies. I'm assuming more trials. The trend appears to indicate the longer periods of time than those used may be needed to see long-term survival advantage of the drug. An interesting observation was that despite the fact the Irish government provides free of charge to people in Ireland with ALS, only 2/3 of the patients registered in Ireland National ALS Database reported taking Relazzo. Alright. Let's see. Let's look at who does ALS affect. ALS is a disorder that affects the functioning of nerves and muscles based on U.S. population studies. A little over 5,600 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with ALS each year. That's 15 new cases a day. It's estimated that nearly as many as 30,000 Americans have the disease at any given time, according to the ALS Care database. 16% of people with ALS in the database are men, and 93% of patients in the database are Caucasian. So it seems more Caucasian men get ALS than any other group, but it can strike anybody in the world. Most people who develop ALS are between the ages of 40 and 70, so if you are younger than 40, you are okay. Well, I guess there is still a chance that you might get it. Less of a chance. With an average of 55 at the time of diagnosis. However, cases of disease do occur in persons in their 20s and 30s. Generally, though, ALS occurs in greater percentages as men and women grow older. ALS is 20% more common in men than in women. However, with increasing age, the incidence of ALS is more equal between men and women. Okay. There are several research studies, past and present, investigating possible risk factors that may be associated with ALS. More work is needed to conclusively determine what genetics and/or environment factors contribute to developing ALS. It is known, however, that military veterans, particularly those deployed during the Gulf War, are approximately twice as likely to develop ALS. Half of people affected with ALS live at least 3 or more years after diagnosis. So if you do get diagnosed with ALS, one thing I'm seeing in common is that you will have time to be able to say goodbye and wrap up your affairs. Sad, so very sad if you get ALS. It sounds horrible, losing motor control and not being able to move and being paralyzed. It sounds horrible. There is some evidence that people with ALS are living longer, at least partially due to clinical management and interventions, removal, and possible other compounds of drugs under investigation. Okay, so ALS is a neurological disease, and it can affect anybody, and people normally get it when they're older, between 40 and 70. It's very good stuff. I think we learned a lot today, and I hope you guys learned a little bit today. Like I said, I do have my own opinions. I'm human. I have other stuff that's more important to me than donating to research charity foundations. If that's what you do, good for you, because those do help people out, about a lot of people. So yeah, this weekend I'm going on vacation starting Friday, tomorrow, and Saturday, Sunday, and possibly Monday. So I may not be publishing a lot of videos. So I won't be actually publishing any videos during the weekend, but I will be taking videos and such stuff. When I come back, you'll get to see my family vacation and such stuff. You'll see the pictures, videos, slideshow stuff. It's going to be crazy all over the board. It's going to be great. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys after the weekend's over. So yeah, hope to see you all you dudes in the next episode. Have a good weekend.